Bella Vista Community Television presents Bella Vista and Beyond. Today our hosts are J.V. Portillo and Kristy Snyder, and we will be talking about what is happening at Lakepoint and the need to get involved. And now to the studio for our program.
Good morning, Bella Vista. J.B. Portillo here and my co-host,
Kristy Snyder.
Yes, you're going to be hearing so much more from us in future, so stay tuned for that. We've got great guests coming up, including today's, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know I'm a huge fan of Lakepoint.
Yes. So let me get started, all right? I'll see you in a few minutes.
See you later.
All right. Okay, good morning again. Today's guest is Lisa Papin. I hope I said that right.
You did.
All right. And Lisa is in charge of events for the POA, but mostly, well, I'm not even going to say mostly, but Lakepoint's where you hang out. Correct?
Mostly.
Yes. Okay. So, Lisa, tell me, how long have you been with the POA now?
Almost 4 years.
Yeah. And part of that, you didn't have the particular title you have now, but you've been there working in the background, so you know it all from the ground up.
You could say that.
I'm saying it
It's
because
been
I believe
insightful.
it. That's right. So tell me, what do you mean when we say events? What kind of events do you have at Lakepoint and other places?
Everything. I don't think that we've ever limited ourselves to just what we've done. We're always open to trying something new, but we've done wedding ceremonies and receptions, obviously, and birthday parties, anniversaries, celebration of life, quinceañeras, all kinds of things.
So really it's just open to your imagination, and that they just need to contact you and you could put something together, correct?
Yes, and you do not have to be a Bella Vista POA member to have an event at any of our facilities.
Thank you for saying that, because I'm not sure everybody understands that. It is open to the public.
It is.
Yes. So tell us, for instance, if I came into you and said, I'm going to get married, what do I need to do, and how can I help? How can you help me? What would you say?
I would walk you through the entire facility. I usually go through a slideshow on my iPad, showing you things that have been done before as I show you in the restaurant where these things would go. And then I would give you a folder when you left that had all kinds of useful information, from a Welcome to Lakepoint sheet that has price points and itemized things. It has a preferred vendors list of anybody that's new to the planning process, so that where they could find vendors, our banquet menu, and all sorts of other information. But as far as questions, I go through the costs of having an event, the details of having an event, what we've done previously, and then suggest what we could do for them specifically.
Gotcha. So outdoors as well? Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess, boy, what a beautiful venue out on the lawn if it's not too hot.
Yes.
With the lake and all of that. So that would be an option.
It is.
Yes. What about, you talked about vendor list. Do you also give suggestions for places for people to stay if they're coming in from out of town?
I do, yes. Everything from DJs to photographers to makeup artists, hairstylists, bakeries, officiants, and lodging.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so you said earlier when we were talking that you do events also at BV Bar and Grill.
Yes.
And I can understand that one, because that's another great place to host a lot of events. Mm-hmm. But Highlands Pub?
Yes, Highlands Pub and Patio.
All right, well tell me, what kind of event would you have at the Highlands?
Well, I have a wedding reception coming up there in October.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm. It's a smaller one, and they're interested in actually renting out the entire facility and closing us down to the public, which we haven't done yet. But we're always open to trying new things and stuff like that. Each location has kind of their own theme as far as if it's more traditional or if it's kind of more casual. Mm-hmm. And they have capacity limits and stuff like that. But as it just got redone, it's very appealing.
You have a great team.
I do have a very strong team.
How many people help you with all this wonderful stuff?
As far as stagings and walkthroughs and all of the decor, I have a team of about 6 or 7 people.
Okay. And you were talking about banquet menus. I guess there are just, depending on the cost, that you could choose an extravagant banquet
Yes.
or
Or
a
create your
modified.
own. And
Create your own.
Yeah, and we'll create a price point for it. We've done all kinds of things in the past. I'm going to mispronounce it. But I think it's like pho noodles. And we did several different kinds of broth and all kinds of different ingredients for an entire wedding ceremony and reception.
Like the pho noodles?
Yes.
That the Vietnamese? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, it was really neat.
I can only imagine.
I knew I was going to mispronounce that.
No, that's
but yeah,
okay.
it was very popular, and everybody kind of got to pick and choose their own thing. And
I hope you took, I hope that's part of your, and you could do
Yes.
this sort of thing. So you build your package as you go.
we can, ideally. We have a lot of options on our banquet menu, and not many people want to veer from that.
Yeah.
But if you want to add something unique like grilled cheese and tomato soup shots as your appetizer.
Is there such a thing?
There is, yeah. I have a bride this month that's doing that.
I need to come talk to you about all these new things. It's been a long time since I've been married. Okay, so where and how should anybody contact you if they wanted to talk to you more about this, to plan an event? Website, for instance.
Yeah,
What's your website?
so Lakepoint Restaurant and Event Center.com. It can also be found on the Bella Vista POA website, but it has my email on there specifically, and an events section. So you can click on it, you can see previously done pictures, testimonials, and information regarding all of our locations.
And you were mentioning earlier you have your name or your contact information on particularly bridal websites?
Yes, so we're actually advertised on the Wedding Wire and the Knot, and those are specific to weddings and ceremonies and receptions, but
Okay.
we advertise on all of those.
Do you prefer people contact you by email, or do you have a phone number you'd like to share?
Either. Just
Okay.
contact me. I love talking.
Well, okay, what's your phone number so that we can tell folks?
It's 479-855-8111.
Okay.
And that's my office line.
That's your office line. You know, I always, when you go into the building in Lakepoint, you're just kind of right there. And so I always tap on the window. I hope that doesn't bother you.
Not at all. That's where my QR code is for my
That's right. Let's talk about
for
that
my
QR
decor.
code. Tell people about your QR code.
Well, one of my new initiatives for this year was being able to offer decor. We've only expanded on that. My clients make it very easy if they come in with amazing decor. I've bought it from them. I've found stuff elsewhere. So I've expanded a lot, and we've put together a slideshow, and I've made a QR code so I can either send that to new inquiries, or they can just view it when they come in and do a tour with me and take it with them so that they can see that. It's extensively long at this point, but it's got several different concepts, examples of what we've done in the past, and then it goes into like an a la carte where they can kind of see what we have and create their own custom concepts to whatever they're wanting for their specific event.
Well, I'm going to do that just out of curiosity next time I come through there.
You should.
For people that don't know what a QR code, most people do, but that's that almost looks like not a barcode, but what it does is if you take a picture of that with your camera or your phone, it takes you directly to a website,
Yes.
correct? So a lot of people are using that, and like I think I mentioned earlier, I'm still trying to talk Tommy Lee into doing that for menus, because a lot of the restaurants are doing that now.
Yes.
As an alternative. Some people still want that paper in front of them.
Yes.
But, well, Lisa, I'm excited. And now, wait a minute. You have a really big event coming up in
I do.
February. Tell us about
Nobody
that.
knows about it yet.
Oh, now they will.
They do it, they will. This coming February, we're actually hosting our first Lakepoint Wedding Expo on February 5th. We are going to be the only venue, and we're going to invite out several vendors and a ton of brides and clients. I'm going to bring in some previous clients that can speak to their successful events, and they're going to wear like sashes so that people know that they're approachable and be able to ask them things throughout the day. I won't give away all my secrets, more information to come, but we're very excited. It's going to be neat.
And isn't that kind of during the period, I think Lakepoint sometimes closes down part of the venue
Yes.
from the first of the year through, usually you reopen on
Valentine's Day.
So, but you still have events in there no matter what.
I will.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe we ought to bring the TV crew out there.
You should do a walkthrough before it starts. That
I
would
know.
be exciting.
Well, why don't you, let's get that on our calendars and remind me, because I think that would be wonderful to help
Yes.
you advertise as well as us to tell what's going on.
Yes, we can do a show and tell. That would be fun.
It would. Anything else you'd like to say to folks before we sign off today?
Just that I enjoy getting to know more people the more and the longer I'm in this role. It doesn't have to be just the weddings and the big, huge events.
Right.
Just getting to know the different Bella Vista groups. I know I said that before, but there are so many of them. And just when I think I learned them all, there are many, many more to get to know. And I get to know a lot of them during Christmas. And one of the things that we do is we waive our room fees at both locations for all Bella Vista Christmas parties.
I didn't know that either.
Yes.
Did you hear that, Bella Vista? Okay.
So they can come and use our facilities, and they're just responsible for the cost of food and having an event, and they get to pick and choose where they'd like to go, and that's kind of our holiday way to give back.
Real quick question, do you do anything at all at Reardon Hall, or is that totally separate?
Totally separate. We do things there, it's just
Not
falls
with you.
under a different, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, thank you so much.
You're
We've been
welcome.
trying to get together now for several months.
It has been a second.
And you're always welcome to come back, because especially if you have something big going on, we want to help you share the joy. Right?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go to a break. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon, and I'll be doing the QR code thing out of curiosity.
Yes, do that. It's on the window.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back, folks.
We will be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Here is our host, Kristy.
Hello there. I'm Kristy Snyder, and welcome to the show. We're here today with State Representative Gayla McKenzie of Gravette. She is serving her second term in the Arkansas House. She represents District 92, which includes portions of Benton County. Good morning, Gayla.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here today. I know you've been very busy. I've seen you out and about. So let's just launch right into this. What do we need to do to help support our state representatives right now? What do we need to do as constituents? Because I understand that things are tough out there.
Yes, I get this question a lot from constituents, and I appreciate it, because the good news is, and I've seen it played out this last session more than the first session, and more people are asking me, how can I get involved? And what I really appreciate is that I saw firsthand this session, and I tell people, you as an individual, you can make a difference, and you can what I want people to know is, first of all, you need to know who your state representative is and your state senator,
Right.
and get their contact information.
Right.
And so you can go to arkansashouse.org, you can go to ar.state.us.gov, but get your representative's contact. I want to hear from you. My cell is 479-787-6411. Actually, that's my landline, but I forward it to my cell. But the reason why that's important,
Right.
when we are in session, the best votes I cast are the ones where I have constituent input. I want it.
Right.
Your legislators want it.
Right.
They need to hear from you. And I've been showing people how you can watch the session and the committee meetings online. You don't have to watch them live. You can, or you can watch them at night, weekends, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Everything is now on that website, and it is user-friendly. And once you get accustomed to that website, you almost be addicted.
Yeah.
And I have constituents who even put, during the session, would put us on during their business live, and people would walk through and watch it.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful thing. We need people watching us.
Right.
And what I want to let people know is, once I get your contact and I know what your areas of interest are.
Right.
For instance, I had a group of parents, teachers, administrators, principals. I'm on the education committee. This is my first time on it this session. There are a lot of bills. There are too many bills, in my opinion. And they don't all of them get read, and that's not good for the people. So I encourage people, once I get your contact information, I'll send you bills. I'll show you where you can look up bills. I'll tell you, this bill's coming up that you care about. I think it's got some bad information, some bad stuff in it. It's
Right.
going to. It's
Right.
going to.
Kind of
but-
like red flags for you.
Yes. So this is what you can do, constituent, to make a difference. And what I had this group of people, they learned halfway through the session, we all learned together what a difference they could make. When we saw some bad bills that were taking away local control of our schools and putting in more just meaningless work and
Right.
reports and taking our eye off the ball of the reading and the writing and the math.
Right.
They reached out. I said, this is how you can contact your legislators. They learned firsthand how it worked. They saw, and they would watch those bills online, and they saw how their impact, their voice made a difference, and they helped kill some of these bills that were bad, that they
Right.
believe were bad. So that's a long answer, but it's an important answer because you, and as an individual, can
Right.
make a difference. And I want to get the word out to constituents. I want to hear from you. Again, the best votes I made were the ones where I had, and I don't mind up there on that board if it's 99-1 and I'm that one no vote.
Right.
If I know I had constituent input from that, I know I heard if it's a bill that impacted HVAC or a bill that impacted anybody, and I got good constituent input saying, this is not good for us.
Right.
I don't mind hanging out there as being that one no vote. The better thing is next time around, though, is just build that coalition so that if it's a bad bill, let's not just be, okay, I voted no against it. Let's work together to either change the bill if we can improve it or kill the bill if it's really a bad idea.
Kill Bill. So what is your number again? And say it slow this time.
Absolutely. So my number is 479-787-6411. And you can also email me. You can go to that website, arkansashouse.org. Every legislator, we have our contact information up there.
Right.
I want people to have my contact information. And what I like about email, I will say, is hopefully this is supposed to be a part-time job, as it should be.
Right.
So I have another job, and it's good for me because I get to live under the same, regulations to businesses that everyone else is living under. And so it also helps because if this is our only job, being a representative,
Right.
you hold it too dearly. You want to hold on to that job so bad.
Right.
And that's not what we want. And so a few times when someone's come up to me and tried to pressure me and say, if you don't vote for this bill, we may get you defeated. Well, my response those couple of times is, they've learned not to come back, I hope, is I already got another job.
Yeah.
And so that's not my livelihood. And so the constituents is what needs to be our main focus, not holding on to the salary.
We all need to be really good
Yeah.
civil servants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Each
And
one of us needs
yeah.
to be held accountable.
So if that email, if you email me, I may not be able to. What I love about email is I can respond back to you at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And so I like the email, and with the email, I will usually share it with people my cell phone too, so you can text me, and that is handy during the session. People will text me that are watching them, and they learn to watch these committee meetings, and oh, how we all need to be watched.
Right.
You all need to see what's going on. We will be a better government the more people that are watching. And my last thing, I know I'm talking a lot here on this, but my advice for constituents is how you can help influence our government, make it better, is when you're visiting with your legislators, sometimes the first thing we say is, because we don't know what to ask them sometimes,
Yeah.
well, tell me about the bills that you sponsored. And the message we send sometimes, is, I think I measure how good a job you're doing by how many bills that you passed.
Yeah.
Many bills we shouldn't be passing.
I've heard
And-
that before.
Yeah, and so what I would recommend is also say to your legislator, because there are some good bills, and you want to hear what you're doing, but say, now tell me, what bills did you oppose? And what did you do to help stop those bills? Because that's what we need to be as guardians, so to speak, of the bad legislation that comes across too. Because otherwise we can fall into the trap of, well, if I don't vote for their bills, they won't vote for my bills. That's how we get bad things, bad legislation that doesn't help you all. So I'm just trying to give people some tools to help make our government better.
Okay, so let's segue then into a bill that you did sponsor this time around, and it's called the Adult Wards Bill of Rights. Tell me a little bit about that.
So again, I believe in self-regulating. This is only one bill that I was a primary sponsor of this session, and then I sponsored a couple of resolutions I thought to help change some rules I think would give a better voice to my constituents. So this bill I believe strongly about, and I believe if you're going to run a bill, you should know what's in it, you should have convictions about it, and you should have constituent input. This one is constituent driven. So what this does, and this is, if you're planning on getting older, this bill is going to impact you. So I want to share this information with people. What this does is it's an adult ward bill of rights. So as folks get older, or our loved ones, and if you're an adult child and you've got parents heading this direction, or as a spouse, and at some point somebody may need a guardianship over their person or their property. Usually it's both. Oftentimes it'll be an adult child or a spouse. And usually these are labors of love. These guardians are investing their own personal time and their own personal money, and that's a wonderful thing. But sometimes you'll have a guardianship go wrong. You'll have adult kids who are fighting with each other, or you'll have a spouse who's maybe upset with some of the kids, or there's a blended family thing going on here. And if if we have a bad guardianship, then they start isolating the adult ward, cutting off loved ones. And what this law does is, and I love this, is it recognizes that people need a way to address the courts. It's intimidating. Do I have to go hire an attorney? It's going to cost me a fortune. And they just accept the fact that I've just been cut off. We don't want that. These people have worked their lives. They've worked for that money that people are fighting over now. They've developed those friendships. Somebody else shouldn't be able to come along and say, nope, you can't see them anymore. Nope, you can't see them anymore. And so what this does is it says to the guardian, when that guardianship is established, it gives the guardian, we don't want to give more work. We want to make it easy for them too, but we want to make sure that we are protecting the value of the life of this adult ward. And so it says to the guardian, here's some paperwork that we're going to do for you, but we're going to give you a form that says if you're going to cut off a family member or even a friend, those friendships matter too. If you're going to cut them off, when you do say, you know what, you can't see mom anymore, or you can't see your best friend anymore, but I'm going to give you this document that says, if you think I'm being arbitrary, you think that I shouldn't be cutting you off, you can reach out to the court, because these cases stay open. You don't have to hire an attorney. You can reach out to the court and request a hearing, and the judge, we can get a separate set of eyes on there. And so if we have a guardian taking too much liberty, or just cutting people off, maybe for bad reasons, they don't want to see what's going on with the ward. This gives an avenue of how people can get before the court. We want to protect those relationships.
Well, like I shared with you before, this experience happened with me on two different levels, where I was in this person's life on a day-to-day basis. And when they got the terminal diagnosis, what happened then was the family just steps in, and then I got pushed out because legally I had no rights. And it was very hurtful in the way that I was the only one who knew this person inside and out every day. And then the family comes in and says, well, we're going to take over now, and blocked me. And what I saw, which was really the most impacting for me, was I had no voice, and my loved one was affected the most, because I was the one they wanted to be with in both instances more than anybody, because I was in their life the most. And the kids were just like, we're taking over now. And I felt helpless.
So this is Act 516, but I want people to know, keep this in mind, that this is out there now, and that call me with any questions that you might have. I'd be happy to walk you through the bill. There are a number of different things that, again, try to protect and recognize the dignity of these loved ones. Make sure, and in those, sometimes there's an instance where guardianship is placed on somebody, perhaps after surgery. You know, as we're older, the recovery time, coming back, getting your faculties back after surgery is longer. Oftentimes a guardianship gets placed on somebody during that time. Well, then they begin to recover. The fog of surgery and the anesthesia wears off, but then they feel trapped. How do they get out? This law recognizes that and gives makes it easier for them to get a voice and to maybe even have the guardianship revisited or less restrictive. So I really I encourage people to keep this in mind, and if you're in that situation now or coming up, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to walk you through what we can do to recognize the dignity of that person.
And so I can look up the Adult Ward's Bill of Rights what, on the state website?
Absolutely, and if I recall it correctly, I believe it's Act 516. But you
Okay.
can look it up, and again, I'd be happy to send a link to anybody if you're having trouble finding it. I'd be happy to do that.
Well, so another question, how long does it take if I were to actually petition the court? What's the average turnaround time for me to get a hearing, do you think?
So this will be at the discretion of the court if they have to accept that hearing. They don't have to. So say for somebody were to do this repeatedly, keep asking for hearings. So the judge does not have to grant the hearing, but the judges worked with me on this actual bill. They realize that there's a need out there, and they want people to be able to have a voice to bring this to light.
Right.
And so it's at the discretion of the court, but I believe the turnaround will be quickly, because if these are open cases. Once a guardianship is established, it stays open until either the guardianship is ended or until the death of that ward. And so it's an open case. And so there should not be a lot of red tape. You just reach out to the judge, and they can then call a hearing quickly. And most likely they will. And we'll see. I want people to, of course, share with me their experiences when they do work with this, if there
Right.
needs to be any changes. But the judges are supportive of this thing. We want to know if there's a problem.
Okay. So you mentioned you're on the education committee. What other committees are you on?
So I'm on two standing committees, what they call standing committees. All of the legislators are on two committees, what they call an A committee and a B committee. So I'm on education, and I'm also on the adult, children, youth, aging, military. I love that. And so that
Right.
deals with really many of the issues we're talking about here with regard to foster children, which is a love that I have, a burden that I have. And also, like I said, this bill here dealt with some of our older population with a common problem that they have. So last session, I was on revenue and tax and on state agencies. I loved both of those too. I really find all of the committees fascinating. I really do enjoy, but these two committees were ones we got to choose our committees this time, and I was so thankful.
Is that unusual, or is that common?
It was something that we changed the first session that I served. The rules had changed prior to my getting there for that session, and the Speaker of the House chose everything. He put all of us on whatever committee he chose,
Right.
and also chose the chairmanships, chose everything. And I spoke out against that then, not because I have any problem with the person of the Speaker of the House, but because of the power that we've put in that position. I do not think it's good for people. So I spoke out against that. We were able to make that change, a partial change, so that when we came back this session, and the Senate can do this already. The senators pick their committees, they pick their chairmanships, they pick it all, and that's good, because we don't want a lot of power concentrated in one person.
Right.
That's not good for your constituents. And chances are the Speaker of the House does not live in is not your representative, and so they don't answer to you. And so when they have that much power, that's not good. So we changed that this time, as far as we are now able to select some of our committee memberships, the A and the B, so to speak. That's good. But all the chairmanships and some of the most powerful committees are still selected by the Speaker. That's a resolution I ran to try to change this last session, and I hope to see us change it. I want to get that information out for people to let them know. If you'd like to see that change or want to hear more information about it, I'd be happy to share that with you, and how we can reach out to your representatives to see if we can't change that next time.
Wow, that's a lot. So when's the session start?
Well, we're technically still in, we did something different this year that I don't believe has been done. We are in recess, extended recess. So we will go back in September probably to address the redistricting once the census figures finally come out.
Right.
We have to go back for that, and it is believed that we'll also be addressing at that time the tax cuts, because as I'm sure folks know, we have a considerable surplus. And I want to hear from people on where you would like to see the tax cuts, what the focus, income tax?
Yeah. I was going to say, give me some examples.
Absolutely. So and I really want to hear people. I'm so thankful for this forum, because
Right.
I want to hear from the folks in Bella Vista. The big thing that's being tossed around, kicked around, and getting the most airtime, so to speak, is lowering the income tax rate, the top rate. And that's something to consider. But I also want us to consider some other options. Our sales tax, as people know, because of the online sales tax,
Right.
we really broaden the base. So we're taking in a lot more money now. And we're almost taking 10%. The state is 6.5%, and as you know, the county and the cities have their ability to tax too. So here in Northwest Arkansas, most regions you're paying 9.5%. Some areas in the state paying 10, and a little bit more in some.
Right.
That's a big old chunk. So that's something that we consider is lowering that. And then the third thing that I think that a lot of people are talking about right now with all the reassessments, property tax.
Yeah,
Should we look
I've
at
heard
that?
that a lot lately.
Yeah, absolutely. And so those are the three things that are on the big items, the big areas of
Right.
funding of our state government. And so I want people to be thinking, reaching out to me, let's kick around ideas, and it shouldn't just be the legislature deciding, this is what we want. It needs to
Right.
be, this is what our constituents want.
So Bella Vista, step up.
Please.
And we're always happy to have you on, and I'd like to have you on again. You have a lot to say, and I definitely want to know what's going on here. So thank you again, Representative McKenzie, and that's a wrap.
Remember, you can see this program on Wednesday, Thursdays, Friday, and Saturday at various times. You may also see this program by going to youtube.com and looking for Bella Vista TV. This has been a presentation of Bella Vista Community Television. Thank you for joining us.